Pretty cute. Hi, I am the Reconstitutor Coach, and today I am going to be coaching myself completely unsupervised. I'm going to be making egg salad and shaping it into a flock of hens. And I cannot tell you how many times I've made this in the past, and my friends and family have been so thrilled and amused with this dish and begged me for the recipe, so here it is finally. First off, it's made with eggs. Lots of them. 2.5 dozen eggs right there. And I peeled every one of those without mangling even one of them. That's how you know it's going to be a party dish. Now, as with all great poultry sculptures, we need to start with destruction. And so first off, we need to reserve 10 egg yolks for later, and these are going to be used to turn into little feathers for our hens. I'm going to cut these in half, and look at those. Aren't those perfect? There's a yolk, and there's a yolk. Just set these over here. Okay, so we're going to continue on with 10. You know when your eggs are cooked right when they're not all green around the outside. And 10. I'm going to cover these yolks up with this towel for just a little bit so they don't dry out too much, because we're going to use those in a few minutes. Next, we need to chop all of these eggs, and we need to chop them into petite chunks. And the texture is really important, not for eating really, but for structural integrity, because we're going to be making a sculpture out of this, and it's got to be the right texture. So I'm going to just do 2 eggs at a time in my little lawnmower chopper. 1, 2. Oh, that's perfect. Look how small those chunks are. Perfect. I'm going to dump those in there, and then I'll finish chopping all these eggs and we'll restart. Okay, I've finished chopping all of those eggs. Look, that is a big old pile of eggs right there. So now we're going to make the dressing. We've got 1/4 cup of mayonnaise, and I know you think that is not going to be enough for all those eggs. But again, this has got to hold together, so we are not going to be making it too runny. 1/4 cup of mustard. Got 1/4 cup of Parmesan. This helps add some texture as well as flavor. We've got 2 tablespoons of really finely minced onion here, and I've got 2.5 teaspoons of salt and 3/4 teaspoon of pepper. Just 1 teaspoon of finely chopped dill. So let's stir this all up. So you can see the dressing is just about the right consistency for egg salad, but it's not really enough for all those eggs. I'm going to reserve a little bit of this dressing for later when we make the small hens. I'm also going to reserve a little bit of chopped eggs just in case when we get done, if the texture is not quite right, we can either make it a little thicker, or maybe we'll even make it a little runnier, whatever it calls for. Let's just start with that. And as you can see, it doesn't really look like it's doing anything at all. Let's do this. Let's dump it out here onto this cutting board and mix it up that way. Since we're sculpting, we'll be able to get a lot better feel for the media this way if we're using our hands rather than a spoon. Whoever did sculptures with a spoon? Well, I don't know. There's people that do sculptures with chainsaws, so why not spoons? Okay, so let's see. Oh yes, that's going to be working much better. I think it's going to need a little bit more dressing. Now this is the moment when this stops becoming egg salad and starts becoming fine art. So we're going to sculpt this pile of egg salad into a hen. Starts by looking much like an egg, right? And then I'm going to raise up a head here. And give her a little beak. That little chunk of white is too big. I'm going to get rid of that. Oh yeah, she's coming together nicely. We want to be careful because we don't want anybody mistaking this hen for a rooster. I like it. Now let's work on the tail feathers. I'm just going to kind of press them down and up like that to make some little tail feathers for her. Oh yeah, she's looking Spectacular. Make some little wings for her. Just a little bit of wings. Wow. It's already starting to look like a party dish. Okay, let's just set her aside for a minute. I'm going to take those 10 egg yolks that I reserved earlier, and we're going to use this ricer and see if we can make some feathers out of those egg yolks. Let's see how that goes. Well, that takes some of Grandma's manly strength to get those out of there. Well, I don't know if these look like feathers exactly, but maybe they're going to be fine once we get them on there. I think that's going to be plenty. I'm going to wipe up this mess. Let's proceed. Now I am going to take this little pepper. This is just a sweet bell pepper. This is not a hot pepper. It's just one of those little mini peppers. And we are going to make the comb and the wattle for this chicken. And according to the complete guide to telling a rooster from a hen, published by backyardchickens.com, you can tell a rooster from a hen by its comb, its wattle, and its tail feathers. So we need to be very subtle making this comb and the wattle so that we end up looking like a hen. For the wattle, I'm going to take this upper part and I'm just going to cut it off like that. The pointed edge is going to go up here and the fat edge is going to go down, but I'm just going to put a little bitty slit in that so that I can fold that wattle in half. See that? And then we'll put that in our hen. Okay, and then I'm going to take a long piece and then I'm just going to cut some little zigzags in this. I have a pair of pinking shears which would be perfect for this, but I use them for sewing and I don't use my sewing scissors for making chicken adornments. Looks pretty good. There we go. I'm gonna just make a little groove right there so that I can insert that and put that in. This is how you know it's a party dish. I need to get some cloves. We're gonna give her some eyes. One here and one there. And now we are going to sprinkle her with these feathers. We can put a little bit on the sides. She is looking beautiful. Okay, now let's get started with these small hens. We need to take 6 eggs and we're going to cut them in half lengthwise. Some of you might know these as deviled eggs. And we're going to take the yolk out. I'm going to put it right into this little ricer thing because that ricer just took those yolks and made them absolutely perfect for making the deviled eggs. And go. We'll just do that. So now we're going to take our dressing that we reserved earlier, we're going to mix it in there. And I don't really think that's going to be enough, so I may have to just whip up a little bit more. And then when we're done, we're going to put it into this piping bag so that we can pipe the nests for our hen. Okay, so I've got this egg yolk mixture in my piping bag and I've just got a star tip in there. So let's get started on these. We're going to have 12 of these because 12 is traditional, biblically speaking. So what we're actually doing here is we're piping the nests. So I'm going to go around the edge. I'm putting a little bit in the center and then I'm going around the edge. And I'm leaving a little well there because we're going to put the hen in there. Right now we're just making the nest. Okay, then there's our 12 followers. So here I have got 12 shrimp. These were large shrimp already deveined and I removed the tails from them and we're going to put each one of these into a nest. I'm putting the fat end towards the skinny end of the egg. Oh, I put this one in the wrong way. Well, no wonder I was having such difficulty with it. I put her head on backwards. That is how you know it's a party dish. Now here I have got, this is some cream cheese. I mixed it with a little bit of ranch dressing mix and just a little tiny bit of peach food coloring. And then I'm going to use these and I'm going to feather these hens properly. So I'm going to try to give them little tail feathers, little beaks, and little wings. I think that'll be all right. So I'm going to continue on until we got all 12 of these done, and then we will join back together. So anyways, I've got them all done. They've each got little wings, and I just kind of fanned the little tail feathers on there, and I just put a little thing on the top to represent their comb and wattle and beak all in one. So now we're going to plate these up. Look at this beautiful crystal dish. Okay, when you put chickens on here, that's how you know it's a party dish. So these leaves are already washed and ready to go. We're just going to put a little bit of these in the center, and this will be the nesting material for her. I'm not so sure she's going to fit in there. I maybe should have made a big old fat tall hen. Look at this. So let's see how that's going to work. Scoop it under there. I hope she stays together. Whoa, that is a big old hen. All righty. Pretty cute. All right, let's place these little ones. I tell you, you can't even see that lettuce we put down. This hen is so big, she's covering her whole nest. Let's stop there, and then we're going to have a taste test. So now that everything has been prepared, I think we should have a taste. Let me get a little bit of this hen. Looks delicious. I'd say that's very edible. Now let's try one of the small hens. Well, I would say that essentially the big hen and the small hens taste the same. It's just that the small hens have a little bit of a briny finish. If you are having a party and you want your guests to remember you, I would say that this is an incredible edible dish, and I would definitely serve this again. And actually, this may not be my last edible bird. See you next time.